talk a little bit about Georgia and, more importantly, Carson Beck. Because I was shocked to see Georgia at number 2 in the Associated Press poll ranking this morning. Mostly because I don't think they watched the Florida game. And I don't think they watched the Texas game, for that matter. Because based on what you have seen from that offense in the Texas game and in the Florida game, that is not one of the 2 best teams in college football. You need a functional offense to be one of the 2 best teams in college football. RJ, but they won this game 34-20. Did you watch Carson Beck throw 3 interceptions for the second game in a row? Did you see that? I saw that. Do you see that Georgia ain't got no run game to speak of? Well, Trevor Etienne was hurt. He ain't the only running back on the roster, dog, and it's Georgia. Which is another way of saying it's 5 stars out your behind over there. And yet and still, you needed to pull one out against a crappy Florida team. And even Florida fans tell you we're not very good. We weren't very good before this game started, and then they lost DJ Lagway, and they put third-string quarterback in there who was a deer in the headlights, Lord bless him, and the third-string wide receiver, and the third and the second-string tailbacks, and the third-string safety, and they still damn near earned a win. It was 20-20 late in the fourth quarter. RJ, that's their Super Bowl. What? Stop that. We only play 12 games a year. Every game is your damn Super Bowl. That's what it is to play college football. We got to hang it all out on Saturdays. And Lord help you if you don't win by enough, because we won't let you be one of the best teams in college football. We will let you ride on your coattails. How can you look at what Ohio State did to Penn State and believe that Ohio State hasn't done enough to be the number 2 team in the country ahead of Georgia, and Georgia has? Well, they went on the road to beat Texas. No, the defense went on the road to beat Texas. The offense was in their way. The thing about Carson Beck, though, is Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo ain't going to be moving off of him. It's just not happening. Like, I seen a couple of y'all asking the question, like, are they really that bad at the backup positions that they got to keep rolling Carson Beck out there? No, Gunnar Stockton can play and Jaden Rashada can play. Both of those dudes are good. But Carson gives them the best opportunity to win football games of those 2. As a matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago that people kept trying to tell me that Carson Beck was a better quarterback than Stetson Bennett. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, then throw him out there. Well, he's not in a hurry and we don't want to burn him. Okay, fine. And you know what? It worked for them. They won 2 national championships. But now you got a Carson Beck who's pressing. Last year, he completed 72% of his passes. This year, 65%. And while I might do what you do, which is point to, hey, man, he did have Brock Bowers out there. He did have Ladd McConkey out there. It ain't like he ain't got dudes out there. Like Dylan Bell actually got them started on end arounds. End arounds for the best rushing of the game, right? End arounds to open things up. Florida was arrogant enough to be in cover 0 against Carson Beck and Georgia. You know what cover 0 means? It means I'm going to give you the middle finger because I don't think we need anybody over the top. That's what that means. It means I don't respect you. You can't go downfield on me. That's not something you should be saying about a guy that people were telling me was one of the 10 best players in college football to start the year. So what's he doing wrong? Well, throwing the ball to the other team. But he's also throwing the football in spaces where he wouldn't last year. He is making a bad play worse. There are opportunities to throw the ball away. And it ain't sexy and it ain't fun, but it does prevent the other team from possessing the ball and taking advantage of you. This season, I think he feels more pressure to win this national championship than last year because he knows he's gone after this year. And you got Chris Fowler bringing up the Lamborghini and everybody else bringing up the Lamborghini, not letting this dude just be who he is, remarking on what his computational skills have been because he's supposed to be the elite processor of information that Dylan Gabriel is at Oregon, and it ain't been there. And I think for once we're getting to see a guy who's going, wait, I haven't won a national championship. I haven't won an SEC championship. I haven't done much. And Carson Beck is in danger of leaving college football the way that C.J. Stroud left college football. As a dude that Georgia fans, Ohio State fans think is really good, but also didn't win a conference championship, didn't win a national championship. He watched other people, if you're Carson Beck, do just that. Mike Bobo wants to show that he's that guy too, because Todd Monken left after winning one, and Mike Bobo been out here trying to make it happen. And Georgia fans can't stand him, no Mike Bobo, man. It is one thing for you not to stand Mike Bobo. It's another thing for Kirby Smart to say, we got to throw the football to win. We've had to. Throwing the football is what we got to do to win. We're going to pass. And you know what? He's been better game to game in as far as like passing yards. But when you throw 10 interceptions in the last 5 games, 4 games of your last 5 have multiple interceptions, something got to give. And in a SEC that has never felt tighter, you are going to play with fire against Ole Miss, and it could bite you. Like, they out here giving you matches with lighter fuel. They can't wait to go after you. You see what they did to Arkansas? And you got to come to the Grove this time. Now, that defense might be up for it, but so is that Ole Miss defense. And if it's Ole Miss's defenses versus Georgia's offense, I expect Ole Miss to watch this Florida tape and do better, because that's what's been occurring. You know, I've watched this over and over this year. Somebody watches someone show where the weakness is on the football team, and the next week, somebody takes advantage of that. Tennessee, Oklahoma. Arkansas said, hey, we just watched the Oklahoma film, and we did it. You know, thinking about South Carolina and A&M, right? We watched what A&M did to LSU. We said, oh, okay, cool. We got that at the house. We'll just run our offense against us, and we'll stop it. And that's what they did to Marcel Reed, Colin Klein, and that A&M offense. Ole Miss is going to do the same thing against this Georgia football team. I'm telling y'all. They're going to watch this Florida game, and they're going to put that into work with this roster that they have paid an arm and a leg for. Carson Beck needs to figure it out, because short of an injury, he's finishing the year. Just what it is. Is he on thin ice? No, he is not on thin ice. It's his ice. And whether or not they make it to a college football playoff is going to be on him, and almost certainly no one else. If you're in here and you like the show, please hit the like button on the live stream. Helps other people discover the show. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, please hit the subscribe button. It doesn't mess with your algorithm. If you came across the show because it showed up in your homepage and whatnot, that is YouTube suggesting to you that you might like the show. And you know what? If you don't, no harm, no foul on that one, right? But I would appreciate it if you did, and you come through and you say things in the comments. I'm in there. If you are, nasty, I can't tell you I'm going to be kind to being nasty, but if you're kind, I'm usually kind back. And if you're asking sincerely, and usually people say, hey, sincerely or seriously for an opinion, I try to give you one, right? This is a growing community that is built on a foundation of Oklahoma and Oklahoma fans. I get all of that, but I do this job nationally. I'm going to talk about college football across the board.